Welcome to How to Start a Website 2.0. You can find the blog article that goes with this session at howtostartawebsite2.com/theme display. Okay, so to pick up right where we left off in the last video, we went through the Graphene theme general settings, and in this video we're going to go through the display settings. So if you're not where you were in the last video, you just go into your dashboard, hover over Appearance, and then select Graphene Options, and that will bring up this page with these tabs, and click on Display, and that will give you these settings to go through. So the very first one is the header display options. So you can use light colored header bars. Let's check that, save settings, and let's see what that does. Go over to the website and click refresh. So instead of this really dark black bar, it's now gray with black being the front when you are on a particular page. And again, all of these colors are things that you will be able to manipulate inside of the theme. So let's go back into the dashboard. You can link a header image to the front page. So basically what this means is if we decide to replace this header image with one of our own, and we make our site title text a part of that image and turn this off, do we want this whole image to then be the link back to the home page? See, right now, in order to get back to the home page, I can click on the text and it takes me back. But if we get rid of that text, well, then how would you get back to the home page unless you have home here on your navigation menu? And some people don't include home on their navigation menu, so they have to have a way of getting back if they want to get back. If you check that box, then the whole entire image is now the link. Do you want to disable featured images replacing the header image? Okay, so this particular theme is different from other themes. Instead of if you have, let's see, do I have the blog set up? Yes, I do. So if I go into my blog, and let's say I had set up a featured image. Some themes will show a large picture at the very top of the blog post. What this particular theme does is it'll replace this image with your featured image for that particular page or that particular blog post. I had figured out how to go in and mess with my PHP code to change that functionality, but that's getting a little more advanced. And because we're not using this theme as a child theme, every time you get a new update for the theme and you update, you lose all of the changes that you made into the PHP code. So it's not really advisable to do it the way I was doing it back then, but hey, I was a newbie. I didn't know any better. So you learn all this stuff as you go along. You can change the header image height. So let's say I want to make that 300 pixels instead of the 198 that it was. So if I come over and refresh the screen, now I have a really big header area. And again, this is all personal preference, depending on what kind of look you're going for. As you can see, I mean, there's a lot of things here that you can tweak very easily without having to know any code. And you'll notice a lot of other free themes do not have a lot of this functionality. So by me showing you this theme first, I may be spoiling you, but I'm just warning you. If you go out and start playing with other themes, you might start looking for these settings thinking they all have them, and they don't. So let's go back to the dashboard. I'm going to change that back to 198 just to leave it at default. And where do you want the search box location to be? And like I said, the best thing you could do for right now is just disable it, because you don't have enough content on your site to warrant doing searches. This is something you can go back and turn back on. 6 months, a year, how long is it going to take you to really build up a full library of searchable content? That's going to depend on how active you are with putting new content on your site. So the column options. So the other really nice thing about this theme is you have a wide variety of how you want the front page to look. Do you want just the content area with no columns, content to the left, column to the right? Mirror that. You can have 2 columns to the right, 2 columns to the left, or you can have a column to either side. Now, when I built out the main site with the Studio Press Genesis framework and child theme, I went with the look of having a column to either side. So just to try to keep this free theme looking similar to that, we will do that. If I come over and refresh, now we don't have anything in that widget area. That's why you're seeing the little pink warning with the exclamation point. Now this would not show to people that aren't administrators on your site. You're seeing it because you're the administrator and you're logged into your site, but nobody else would see that pink box. But now you see we have a column for widgets here, our content is here, and the column for widgets on the other side. And I think I already saved that, but now we can also change the column widths, which is really nice, because as you saw, this center content column got really narrow, and that can make for long scrolling for even just moderately sized pages or blog posts. So they have sliders here to help you set up, and basically the one we want to set is this one. Which is interesting. So I can either play with the slider, or I could play with the number of pixels itself. So let's say I want, if I do 250 and 250, in fact, I don't know that I want them equal. Let's make this side 175. I was kind of hoping maybe it would do the math for me, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So we have an overall pixel width of 960 pixels. So if I subtract 250 for the one and 175 for the other, that leaves me 535 for the center. So what happens if I save that? So now it looks like this column got too, it got too narrow for those widgets. Oh, and the other nice thing, we can change the entire container width. So let's save that. I just put it on maximum 1400 pixels. Oh, much better. So now let's say I wanted the left side to be 250, because now we're dealing with a total of 1400. So 250, 330. Okay, so now in order to leave enough left over for the pixel spacing in between each column, I had to set the center content area for 750 pixels, and I wanted the left sidebar to be a little bit more narrow than the right sidebar, so I went to 250 on the left and 330 was the default for the right, and that is now what this site looks like. So as you can see, and all of this is personal preference, but when you have a Graphene site, when you get done with all these settings, your site will not look like anybody else's out there unless you've left everything default and somebody else has left everything default. So post display options. Do you want to hide the post author? Maybe if you're going to be the only person who ever writes on this website, maybe you don't have a need to show the author, so you can turn that off. Do you want the post date to display? So that's really nice because a lot of people, one of their first questions is, how do I turn that date off? I don't want people to think my content is out of date just because I wrote it 3 months ago or a year ago. So you can have the date hidden. You can have the post date as an icon without the year. You can include the year, and you can have it as, instead of as an icon, you can just have it as inline text. So why don't we go ahead and go with hidden. And we can hide the post categories if we don't need those to display. We can hide the post tags. I find all this stuff to be just unnecessary clutter on the pages, so I like turning this stuff off. Now, if you get lots and lots and lots of comments, yeah, go ahead and leave that on because it's sort of like bragging rights. But if you're not getting a lot of comments, then hide it. Do you want to show the post author's gravatar or the post author's info? So this is probably going to that whole author box type thing, and you can turn that stuff on as well. So we're going to save all those options. So excerpts display options. Do you want to show excerpts in the front page? Okay, so this is basically when your blog posts appear. Do you want just excerpts of them, or do you want to show full content? So I always prefer excerpts because, like I said, I don't like long scrolling. If people want to read the full article, I'd rather they clicked through to the single post page and then read the post from there instead of doing that infinite scroll thing. So wherever I can say show excerpts, I'm going to say show excerpts. I do not want to show full content. Show more link for manual excerpts. Sure, sounds great. And there's HTML tags that you can retain in the excerpts. So for instance, if you had ordered lists or unordered lists and you want them to remain that way in the excerpt, you would have to include those HTML tags here in order for that to happen. So let's save all of those changes. Then you have the comments display options. Let's see, hide allow tags in the comment form. Okay, so some comment forms, when they come up, they have the clutter at the bottom that is showing the comment writer all the HTML tags that they're allowed to use. I've turned off commenting for this particular site. So at this point, I don't think I can show you what that looks like, but that's a personal preference. If I had commenting on the site, I think I usually turn those tags off because, like I said, it's just more unnecessary clutter. Oh, this is really nice. I don't know if you've heard of Google Web Fonts, but if you go to Google Web Fonts, you can find some really, really nice and decorative fonts that are available. But the hard part is, if you're not going to get involved in your CSS code, how would you enable them on your site, or how would you force the website to use them? Because these are not necessarily fonts that people are going to have on their computer or available in their browser. And that's usually when you end up with the really ugly looking text, is when somebody has like disabled all of the fancier text and fonts. So what you can do is you would be able to put the Google Web Font names in this box. And then you can say, where do you want to use those particular fonts? In the text font title text font, and then you can say what size, the title text weight, so you can make it heavier, which means thicker or more bold. You can change the line height, and this is all stuff to make your text easier to read, to give your pages more white space. This particular theme is like a designer's heaven, because most themes do not give you the ability to tweak all this stuff unless you know how to code. I'm not going to mess with any of these in this video, because design and typography is it's an entire course on its own. But this is where you would play with all of that. So now the footer widget display options. So how many widgets do you want in the footer? For the most part, 3 is what comfortably fits. I have done 4, but you can change how many you want to be down there right here. And because we enabled the front page to have their own separate widgets, maybe we want 3 on every other page in the website, but we only want 1 on the front page, or maybe we don't want any on the front page. So again, highly customizable. You can change these numbers to be whatever you want. Navigation menu display options. So the drop-down menu item width is default set 200 pixels. And what does that mean? Well, if we had child menu items underneath these parents, how wide would you want the box to be that opens up below this text? That's basically what that option is giving you. Do you want to disable description and header menu? So let's check that and see what that does. We're going to refresh the site. I'm not exactly sure I noticed what changed, so let's uncheck that. Okay, well, with it checked, it was less bold, and with it unchecked, it's more bold. I would not have gathered that from that description, but that's what that did. So now with miscellaneous display options. Okay, so you're able to set tags to customize your site title structure, and right now the default is pound site dash name, site dash DESC, and post dash title. So if you wanted to change the front page, you would do that here. Right now it defaults to the items in the gray, and if you want the content pages to be something different, you would put that here. Otherwise it defaults to the post title and the site name. So favicon options. What is a favicon? Well, let's see. The favicon is what shows up here in the address bar next to your URL address. Right now it just looks like a little nondescript page, and for whatever reason, that being a little picture is more enticing to internet browsers. So if you were to go and have a favicon made, because these are really, really tiny little pictures, I think they're only maybe 16 pixels, you would be able to upload that to your image gallery and then attach the URL address here, and then once you save these changes, that little picture would replace this little page up here in your address bar. I don't have anything ready to go to show you that, but that's where you would do that. And then custom CSS. As if this theme didn't have enough ways for you to change the look with all the different settings that they gave you. I mean, if you know how to write CSS code and you would rather just go do that instead of mess with all these settings, you could just put your code in here and it would overwrite the CSS code that came with the theme, and you could change the look of your site that way. Now we're going to save all the options. And again, to try to keep these videos a little bit shorter, that is all we're going to cover in this video. I am going to say that I'm going to skip the colors menu because we could be in here for hours. I know when I was changing the colors on my first site, I probably spent close to 2 days getting everything to look just the way I wanted it to look. And my daughter is an artist. She knows color theory. So it was making sure we had the exact tones and shades and colors that went well together in order to make the site look really sharp. But it's really easy. I think I showed in the very first video when we first installed this theme. All you have to do is just click on any one of these areas and you can change colors. Now you don't see anything happening because I for some reason I tend to the darkest color, but there you go. Ooh, that's horrible. But okay, if you didn't want white, you can make it a little more off-white. And again, I mean, you, as you see, I mean, it's blendings of color, and it's getting the exact blend that you're looking for and finding all the little shadows and the highlights. I mean, you see there's like a little gray up there. That gray is coming from here. I can make that. There you go. That completely changed the look of how the words read now, just by changing it to that color. And I'm not going to save any of that. I'm going to leave the defaults alone. But anywhere you see color on the front of the site, you have the ability to come in here and make tweaks and changes. You can change the slider, the block buttons, the archive title. I mean, all in here. Comment area, content text, and your footer. All of that is changeable. Thank you for watching and listening to another session from How to Start a Website 2.0. This episode is just one of many available inside my online course. Register for free today at howtostartawebsite2.com/thevault.